Welcome to Exhibitor Lounge, sponsored by ExhibitEdge.com. Now, I'm your host and your trade show mixologist, Michael Gray. Here each week you receive simple, practical, and proven tips to improve your trade show marketing strategy and get better results while maximizing your budget. Okay, so last week I mentioned that HDMI was not the latest. It was just the latest craze. So the latest type of port and connector is now the DisplayPort. So here I am at a show in Augusta, Georgia a few weeks ago, and I came across my first DisplayPort compatibility issue. Our client's HP laptop had a DisplayPort output, and the monitor had an HDMI input. Well, you should have seen me running around town looking for the adapter, having no clue what the port was even called. I showed them a photo or just told the salespeople it looked like HDMI, but one side was chopped off or 90 degrees. After my fifth store, one savvy tech person finally said, "Oh, you're talking about a DisplayPort." Well, then I learned that Mac users are well familiar with this term, as they use a mini DisplayPort connection all the time. So once he knew what I was looking for, he easily showed me a passive DisplayPort to HDMI adapter cable, which took care of the connection problem. Now, I did get lucky though, as the DisplayPort's graphics card in the laptop could recognize the monitor connection as HDMI and could output an HDMI signal. Note that I said that the cable was a passive adapter cable. It's very important to understand when a passive adapter will work and when an active adapter is needed. All right, hold on till next week, and we will go over passive adapters and active adapters. Now, active adapters are also referred to as converters. Okay, so in all this confusion, you're probably asking, why did we need another type of port and cable? Well, I asked the same question when the Phillips screwdriver tip was invented. Now look at how many different types of screwdriver tips there are. Oh well, I digress. So let's get back to the DisplayPort. In my research, the biggest reason that I found for the premiere of the DisplayPort is that it's royalty-free, where HDMI charges 4 cents per device. Now that doesn't seem like much, but I guess if you're a manufacturer, that could be a lot. But, all right, that's not the only reason. Okay, here is some detail. About 3 years after HDMI was introduced came the DisplayPort. Now, it was designed specifically to go from a graphics card to a monitor in the computer world, where HDMI's roots started in TVs and DVD players. Basically, HDMI came from the consumer electronics world. In other words, the DisplayPort is a computer interface, while HDMI port is a home electronics interface. Now, the DisplayPort was designed to replace the DVI connection, while HDMI was designed to replace the composite, RGB, and S-video connections once monitors went digital. Now, these two ports have different standards and capabilities, with the DisplayPort reaching new heights in bandwidth and long-distance cabling. The DisplayPort uses a packet-based transmission system, while HDMI and DVI use a system called TMDS, meaning Transmission Minimized Differential Signaling. Now, the DisplayPort packet system provides a more flexible use of bandwidth. It comes in 1, 2, and 4 link versions, with increased data capacity with each version. Now, the 1.2 or middle version is good enough for most applications, as it easily surpasses HDMI at 17 gigs per second. HDMI's maximum rate is around 10.4 gigs per second. But don't worry, either way, you only need about 750 megabytes per second for 1080p video. Now the DisplayPort has many other features, but I would get tongue-tied trying to explain them all. So we'll just stop with the basic information. Hey, as always, please respond with your questions or comments and let others know about exhibitorlounge.com. We'll see you next week. Until then, I'm your host, Michael Gray, telling you, relax in the Exhibitor Lounge.